Hello, everybody. Good morning and welcome to another webinar from Man and Machine. So I'm really excited about this webinar and thank you for joining us this morning. This webinar, we're going to be looking at Fusion persona offerings. Now, many of you I know on the webinar, on the call this morning, already use Fusion and already use some of the extensions, perhaps the machining extension or the simulation or the manage extension. Now, this webinar, we're going to be looking at a relatively new package offering from Autodesk called the persona offerings. And we're going to explore the benefits and the reasons why they might be of interest to you. So thank you for joining me. My name is Simon Brand. I'm the manufacturing sales manager here at Man and Machine, and I'd like to welcome you all to this webinar. If any of you are interested in the specific details of any of the extensions that we're going to be looking at today, we have previously done webinars on most of them, and they can be found on our YouTube channel. So please go and follow us on YouTube, go and follow us and like us on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, and everything that we ever do is always published on our YouTube channel. So please go and follow us. So for those of you that already know and maybe already use Fusion, and I know some of the names on the call this morning, many of you already use Fusion, you know that Fusion is a platform. Now, the CAD/CAM industry for many years has become relatively confusing for a lot of you and relatively hard for you to justify company investments in specific tools for specific tasks. And Autodesk really want to challenge that into the next generation of tools. And Fusion, rather than thinking about Fusion as a CAD tool, which of course it is, think of Fusion as a platform, a cloud-based hybrid working environment, giving all your users at various levels access to the right tools at the right time and the right price. But let me start with base Fusion. Now, for those of you that maybe have investigated or followed the journey of Fusion for many years will know that it has become a very powerful CAD/CAM tool. And it's a little bit more than that. So, 3 or 4 years ago, if you'd have asked me the question about Fusion, perhaps I would have said that it's a tool really quite nice to use for hobbyists or home users. But in recent years, it's really become a tool to look at again for businesses. The functionality that's going into Fusion is more, the rapid rate of development is more than I've ever seen within the CAD/CAM industry. And I've been in the industry for 18, 19 years now. But base Fusion at a very affordable price gives all fully functional CAD geometry tools, all the tools that you would expect in a tool, patterning, cutting, machining, being able to do 3, 2.5 and 3 axis machining straight out of the box in the same platform, in the same environment, fully functional tools all within the same platform for an affordable subscription price. And that's why Fusion, I think sometimes people think that when they hear the price of Fusion being, and don't quote me on the price, around £400 per year per user, kind of almost think, well, it can't be that good. It's not, it's natural to think that a cheaper product isn't as good as a more expensive product. Well, you'd be wrong now. And I'd encourage you to go and try Fusion, because the people that we talk to about Fusion, they like using it. They enjoy using it. It's almost putting the fun back into CAD tools. Gone are the days of menu after menu after menu after menu, and actually having an intuitive environment that understands what you're clicking on, understands what you want. It kind of gives you the right parameters based upon the geometry that you're in. And as well as the CAD, the functional CAD, and the CAM, the simulation and the rendering tools. Autodesk over the years have acquired many bits of technology and have some awesome bits of technology, bits of software for specific tasks. But the way that it's always been done from a cost perspective is that you, as a user, would need to almost justify the cost to go and buy that bit of tool to do that function. And often, if it's something you're doing once in a blue moon, or not very often, once or twice a year, perhaps, it's an often difficult sell to your boss, difficult to justify the cost. Well, you don't need to anymore. It's in the box. You have Fusion. It gives you rendering, very functional rendering, and Autodesk is very strong in the rendering environment. Encourage you to go and have a look again at Fusion if you haven't already. So to put it in context a little bit about what Fusion, the way that Fusion is kind of changing the environment. If you think about a traditional manufacturing business, of course, you may have an engineering department that need to access CAD and design tools. There may be elements of CAM and design and electrical design, that could be the same people, it could be different people. Now, historically, I guess, certainly in the larger automotive or aerospace industries, these might be specific different departments. But I think now often this is one guy or one department that has to do a bit of this and a bit of that on a day-to-day basis. As well as that, you often, of course, need to manage that data, manage the data between the changes between the designer, the electrical engineer, the CAM engineer, manage all that data, manage revision control, which then, form different departments. And then, of course, you've got external departments, whether that's, bits that you buy in, or the CAE department, supply chain, bringing in data from external suppliers, or to feed into that customer environment. And what that actually looks like in reality is a mix match of different softwares, whether it's different CAD tools or different electrical tools, or different analysis tools. And of course, the old way of working, the sort of blinkered approach to CAD, which is my software is the best and I can only work with other suppliers that use exactly the same tool as me, which perhaps historically was quite a sales approach that people would use. Of course, you sell to one company, and then of course all their supply chain have to use your tool as well. Well, those days are kind of gone now. And one thing that Fusion has added in recent years is a function called AnyCAD. And AnyCAD is the ability to not only read in files from SolidWorks or from CATIA or from Creo, to be able to then manipulate them and use them on top. And as well as that, if you're maybe making tools that from a file from an external supplier that comes from a CAD neutral form, a step or an IGES, and of course it's dumb geometry, that may change. You may get version 2 of that file. Well, why would you have to rework all your data? If you're pointing at that file and you can rename that file, AnyCAD gives you the ability to then just re-update the file that you're pointing at, and everything that you've done is updated on top. So the world has changed, and I think not only the environment has changed, but also the way that we access the technology. We have a robust cloud-based infrastructure now. Why not use it? Why not make use of the infrastructure that's there now? The world has definitely evolved. So the way that Fusion is packaged is really interesting, and it kind of flips the whole justification to your boss sort of scenario on top. Of course, traditionally you may have CAD, CAM, PCB, simulation, visualization as all kind of separate entities. And historically, you may do the CAD every single day. You may do the CAM every single day. You may only do simulation once a blue moon, or you may only do visualization twice a year. Well, these have become difficult justifications, especially with something like simulation, that I can remember simulation tools costing 20 or 30, if not more, £1,000. And to say to your boss, I need to spend this much money to do one job, it's a real difficult sell. So often doesn't get done. And what Fusion does is it gives all of that plus a lot more, as well as data management, all within one simple package. It's a platform. I don't want you to think of Fusion as being simply a CAD tool or a CAM tool. It is a platform for the future. It offers you all of this in one functionality, all for, and again, don't quote me on the price, it's around £400 per year per user, something like that. But on top of that, and one of the reasons why I think you're here today is because some people want to go a little bit further. Some people want the advanced functionality, whether that's in the machining environment, taking it into 5-axis, whether that's in additive builds, taking it into metal 3D printing, or simulation, taking it into the world of non-linear simulation. These are functions that not everyone needs to do. So Autodesk have got extensions, they're called. And now you can either access these extensions within your base Fusion package on a consumption basis, i.e. a pay-as-you-go sort of model, where you, as an organization, you would buy a set of tokens, they're called. You buy a bundle of 500 tokens, and then every time you use a simulation, or every time you do a thermal study within Simulation Suite, or an element of product design, you would cash in some of those tokens to use as you do. If it's something that you're doing regularly, all day, every day, then what you can actually do is subscribe to these extensions on an annual basis. And that gives you full, unlimited access to all of the functionality within those advanced functions. Now, more regularly, what we're seeing is organizations might have 10 users of the base Fusion package, but then one machining, one simulation, and one product design. And that's sort of traditional how it's working at the moment. But one of the reasons why I think you're here today is because what Autodesk have recently released is what they're calling the persona offerings. So if we look at the different extensions that they have at the moment, they're kind of grouped into two areas, really. There's the sort of design functions, i.e. product design and simulation, as sort of more designery type functions. And then there's the more manufacturing types extensions, additive build, nesting and fabrication, and machining extensions. So Autodesk have realized that sometimes users, either in the design world or the manufacturing world, maybe want access to multiple extensions. So what they've done is they've grouped these extensions into what they're calling their persona offerings. And there are two persona offerings. There's the Fusion 360 for product design persona, which incorporates not only the product design extension, the simulation extension, and the manage extension all in one box. And that represents about a 40% saving on buying them individually. And then the Fusion 360 for manufacturing persona incorporates machining, nesting, additive build, product design, because there are some useful functions for anyone doing plastic product design in a manufacturing space, as well as the manage extension. And that one actually represents a saving of over 50%. So a really interesting packaged offering for individual users that maybe want access to a Fusion more advanced features. And what I wanted to do today was take a little bit of a more in-depth look at the different extensions and what they offer. So I've asked our engineer Cameron to give us a bit of an overview, play some videos now about what each extension offers you. Like I said, we've done webinars in the past on our YouTube channel that take a more in-depth look at a user level at all of these extensions. But what I wanted to do was just, if I click play, is just show you what the product design extension offers. So the product design extension allows you to easily create really complex geometry. So advanced aesthetics, if you're doing plastic injection molding tools, things like automatically creating bosses, having the ability to manipulate those bosses, those advanced features, not only the screws, but the wings and everything around that boss is automatically generated, all within a easy to use area, as well as clips. Being able to not only create, manipulate the clip or the holding fastener, but being able to then not only do that, but take away the positive and the negative of that clip all in one hit. And my favorite additional function within the product design extension is the geometric patterning. Now, this is the sort of thing that perhaps would take a designer half a day to create. Well, the ability to automatically create advanced features and control how they look and how they feel, all within highly customizable, whether that's user defined or predefined, all in the same package. So really functional if you're doing anything to do with plastics. Please look at the product design extension. We've done a webinar on it previously where we look at a little bit more detail. Now, also in the persona offering for designers is the simulation extension. Now, the simulation extension takes the base Fusion geometry, base Fusion simulation, and takes it unlimited access to all the highly functional simulation things that you would want to be able to do. So things like injection molding, if you are a plastics engineer, being able to do injection molding analysis all within the simulation extension. Non-linear static stress is in the simulation extension. Unlimited, you can use it as much as you want, as well as event simulation. So impact testing. Is your product going to withstand being dropped on the floor? Yeah, that sort of drop test. steady state and thermodal frequencies and structural buckling and thermal stress, as well as shape optimization, are all included within the simulation extension. So these are advanced simulation studies that perhaps you need to do once a project, once a month, whatever it is. But with the simulation extension, you can do it as much or as little as you want. And these are advanced functions that, like I said, not that long ago, we were selling simulation tools for 20, 25, 30,000 pounds a license, which is a difficult sell if you're only using it once in a blue moon. But being able to accurately calculate, and these are trusted based upon Nastran. So Autodesk acquired Nastran a few years ago now, and Nastran, if you're already a user of the product design extension, it's the same technology bedded within inside of Fusion in the simulation extension. But being able to do all of this sort of stuff all within the same environment that you're already used to in the CAD is a real benefit if you're already using Fusion. As well as that, what often people want to be able to do is to manage their data. So not only you're creating more data, you're creating simulation data, electronics data, but you need to be able to effectively manage that data in the cloud without worrying about your server specification and your SQL environment. The managed extension allows you to do things like change orders, automatic part numbering, all within the environment in the cloud inside of Fusion. You know, version control, bill of material management are all included. Life cycles, you know, these are, if you're a business, if you're managing your data, if you need to control, you know, essentially who has access to what data and when they have access to it, more importantly, whether you are a designer in the early state of a design or whether you're on the shop floor, you need to only have access to the latest released version, or in procurement, perhaps only access to the right data that you need to acquire. Manage extension allows you to have notifications and push notifications to the right people so that they have access to the right data at the right time. And that is key to anyone involved in product design, being able to control access and make sure that the right people, whether they are internal people or external people. One of the things that companies often struggle with is being able to take that data and seek approval perhaps from the customer. So being able to, you know, if you're using something like Vault or another PDM system, what often happens in reality is a PDF is created and sent to the customer for approval, which then makes it completely non-controlled. Well, using the Manage extension allows you to give cloud-based access to anyone in the world with that link to be able to approve it externally. And that is a huge leap forward for anyone involved in design and customer sign-off. So those extensions are all included within the design persona offering. If you're already using Fusion, get in touch if you're interested in either the extensions or the persona offerings, because I think they really offer some value and some advanced functionality. Now, the manufacturing extension takes it a little bit further. One of the ones that I'm really personally very excited about within the Fusion extensions is the machining extension. Again, we have done a webinar on this, looking at it in a bit more detail, but the machining extension is highly functional. So what it basically does is it takes it to advanced machining strategies. So anyone involved in 3 to 5 axis simultaneous environment, the machining extension really takes it to the next level. Automatically recognizing holes, automatically selecting the right tool for the job and order them so that your cycle times are a lot quicker is central to what the machining extension offers. Also does tool path optimization. So things like making fast edits. So, you know, that sort of, that doesn't look quite right. Rather than deleting it and starting it again, being able to manipulate the toolpath as you see it on the screen without regenerating the whole thing. As well as that, the machining extension offers on-machine verification. So if you have any spindle-mounted probes, being able to work with them in a more efficient way, I think is key to the machining extension. Fully functional, really advanced functionality within the machining extension, all included in the manufacturing persona. Also included in this bundle is the nesting and fabrication extension. Now, nesting and fabrication is something that personally I'm really excited about. Being able to do anything to do with sheet metal, but optimizing, understanding the associative sheet thickness, layout, and lay them out in a more efficient way, I think is key to the nesting and fabrication extension. Multi-sheet nesting is also included. Automatic material thickness and part quality, so you can optimize your stock usage. The other thing that the nesting and fabrication does is it allows you to compare previous jobs. So you can compare usage and cost, material and stack size, so that when you're coming to the quoting decisions, you can make informed decisions about quoting the right amount of money based on the stock and the previous job that you've done. All included within the nesting and fabrication, either extension or within the manufacturing persona offering. If you're involved in anything to do with 3D printing, of course, Fusion offers 3D printing as standard. But if you're getting involved in metal 3D printing, anything to do with powder bed, additive manufacturing, then the additive build extension is a must. It really takes metal 3D printing to the next level. Autodesk acquired a tool 5 or 6 years ago called NetFab, and NetFab was the leader in this world. And what Autodesk have done is they've integrated it inside of the Fusion environment, allowing users to take the same interface, but use the advanced technologies included within NetFab in the additive build extension. So whether you're doing build, whether you're doing your shape optimization, your layout, how your 3D orientation to be able to get the most efficient build, the warpage, being able to auto predict and eliminate any metal warpage, all included, as well as your support structures build there and your latticing, all built within the additive build extension. Fully associated short support structures built within the additive extension. The additive extension, if you're involved in anything to do with metal or anything production ready additive, is a must. The other tools out there on the market are vastly more expensive. The additive extension included within this bundle is incredibly affordable. Of course, I've already shown the product design extension, which is already also included in the manufacturing persona offering, giving you the plastic ability to design plastic components, bosses and clips and fasteners, that sort of stuff. Sometimes we find that sort of information goes down to the shop floor and it isn't already there. Well, having the CAD geometry there is key. And the manage extensions. So manufacturers also need access to the right data at the right time, and being able to be part of that workflow is included within the persona offering, within the manufacturing persona offering. So that's that. So we, as Man and Machine, we obviously sell the software. We obviously help our customers with training and with support. And our engineering team are one of the best in the country for not only being able to support our clients, but also implement and make the transition from whatever you're using at the moment over to Fusion. People seem to love using Fusion and they seem to enjoy the experience of using it. And the advanced functionality within these persona offerings and individual extensions gives you access to a lot further. And I'd just like to finish by saying on our website, and I think we'll probably put it in the description underneath, if you're interested in finding out more about or even trialing some of these these extensions, then follow the link below, because you can, if you fill out the form on there, you can download and trial any of these individual extensions, try them out for yourself. Use our YouTube videos, go and watch our webinars that we've done in the past and have a look at what we've, how to actually use it, and then contact us for more information and pricing and quoting if you will need any support or training. But we'd love to see you trying it. I think that most of you that are involved in anything more advanced would enjoy using the extensions, and we often find that people that start playing with them, really enjoy it. put the price aside. You know, we don't have to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds on a bit of software that we're going to use once a month or once a year. In fact, Fusion gives you access to all these tools in one box. So thank you for your time today. I'd like to end this webinar now, but please go and follow our YouTube channels. Please go and look at follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, and I'll catch you for our next webinar next time. Thank you for your time.